Hi, everybody. It's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and I'm coming to you live today a little early so we can do our yin yoga class. It's going to help us with some lymphatic draining and just encouraging movement throughout the body and bloodstream. All right, go ahead, grab yourself 2 blocks. We're going to start using them right away down on the floor with a supported fish pose and bound ankle. You want to put on any sort of relaxing music, light any candles, treat yourself to that. I'll find the bird real fast. Excuse, excuse me, everyone. Whoa. Let's make it down to the floor and oh my gosh. Wow. And do this. Pardon my senses. All right. So we've enjoyed reclined bound angle before. For this one, you're going to take a block and place 1 block between your shoulders. And then you're going to take another block. Oh my gosh. Whoa. And place it behind the original block to be behind your head. Awesome. Take your time. You can ease yourself down with both feet on the floor. And relax your head on your prop block. And then go ahead, bring the soles of your feet together and allow your knees to fall open heavy to the side. Oh, it feels so good on the upper back. I personally like to have this block for the back of the head a little bit lower. So if you too want to take a turn off that block, go for it. Let's be here for the next 3 minutes. Remember, in yin yoga, if your eyes are moving, your mind is moving. So find one spot on the ceiling above you. Simply close your eyes. Relax as much and as deeply as possible and just breathe. One minute left. As you're ready, we're going to carefully roll off of these blocks. So perhaps you bring the soles of your feet to the floor and then drop both knees to one side. You can use your elbows to help you carefully roll, release some of your props, and then we're going to make our way into a seated position. See you there. You can come into any seated position that feels comfortable for you. If you find that you want to sit cross-legged, but your knees or a knee is coming all the way up towards your chest, think about lifting yourself up on one of your blocks. You can get a little extra ease within your hip opening right here. And then you can still open your legs wide or find this cross leg. Great. Next up, we're going to take a nice big stretch of the neck. So before we get there, just work to find some grounding through your sit bones, stacking your shoulders over your hips, a little heart opening. Let's inhale, arms all the way up overhead. Bring your hands palms together, interlace your fingers, and then we're going to bring those fingers to the back of the neck. Tuck your chin to your chest, start to bring your elbows forward. So we've got a little hammock on the neck. And it's up to you how much gentle forward pressure. So you're trying to create some extra length that you're going to create here. For just a couple more breaths, think about opening your shoulders like you're wrapping your elbows and your inner arms around a giant volleyball. So as much opening through the neck, through the upper back as you can create. On your inhale, lift your head up, open your elbows nice and wide. Relax your arms down by your side. Take about 3 breaths right here. Heart lifted, chest open, upper back engaged towards itself. On your next inhale, bring your arms up. And on your exhale, release your fingers down to your shoulders. From here, we're just going to enjoy a couple shoulder circles. Let's start out really slow. So work to bring your elbows towards each other like they're kissing, a little rounding of the back, big stretch between the shoulder blades. On your inhale, lift your elbows up and back. Exhale down and forward. Find that rounding in your back. Awesome. Keep going. You can move a little bit faster. You can enjoy these really slow shoulder circles. Whatever feels best for you today. We'll get about 1 minute total in this direction, and then we'll change direction of these shoulder circles. Keep your breath slow and steady. On the next circle that you finish, maybe hold for a second, bringing your elbows back together, finding that rounding in your back where we really got started. And then we're going to inhale down and back. Exhale up and forward. Awesome. Keep going. You got 1 minute right here. last couple times around. Awesome. Next time your elbows come down by your side, simply release them down there. Let your hands relax into your lap. Up to you, palms facing up or palms facing down. Ground through your sit bones, open your chest, and take 3 breaths again. Okay. I want you to think of a positive train of thoughts, something that you say to yourself that you can give yourself that good vibe when you're maybe just like not feeling 100%. It might be something like, I am healthy, I am happy, and I am whole. Or you can use any language that honestly feels organic towards yourself. But that's just an idea. Maybe you say all of that or just some of that. Next up, we're going to do some tapping. If you've never done tapping before, it can just might feel a little weird to get started. Is really great for moving your energy around. Sometimes truly just uh, running our hands along our bodies can help to create some different stimulation and awareness. All right, so we're going to take our fingers, 4 fingers or 3 fingers might feel a little better. You can even tuck your pinky in with your thumb. And we're just going to tap right at the thalamus for just about 1 minute. And I want you to think to yourself, whatever your personal mantra is. Maybe you even say it out loud. I am happy. I am whole. I am healthy. Keep repeating. But I'll let you enjoy this silence as needed. One more big inhale. And on your exhale, you can relax your hands back down into your lap. 3 more grounding breaths in your stillness. Nice work. All right, let's make our way into tabletop. Enjoy a little bit of cat cow. Create any stretches your body wants or needs today. Keep a block nearby. We've got melting heart pose coming up next. But for now, more than a minute to enjoy right here. Maybe you stick with traditional cat cow. Maybe you add in a couple little shakes or whatever that your body might need. Do your best to really stay in tune with your breath here. And whatever movement you find, do so intentionally. Maybe still thinking towards whatever phrase or mantra felt good to you during the tapping of the. All right. So next up, you have the option of taking it really easy on yourself, or a bit easier, we should say, and enjoying some child's pose. Or if you want a little bit more, you can enjoy melting heart's pose. So hands palms are going to start to come in front of you for child's pose, sinking your glutes towards your heels. You can relax your head down towards the floor or place a block under your head if you're feeling tight today. For melting heart's pose, lifting your hips up, hips start to stack on top of your knees, hands can walk forward. And if your chest feels really far from the floor, you can place a block or blocks underneath of your chest. I'll start with a little melting heart's pose. We're going to be here for just over 2 minutes, and then we'll all come into a version of child's pose. So find what does feel good for you right now. Can you create some stillness there? Just your best. Sometimes it takes a couple breaths to really be able to feel comfortable, confident, and then relax in a posture and know that you're supported. So start a scan from the top of your head down to your toes and ask yourself, where can you release a little bit of tension and still enjoy a nice stretch in the back, maybe in the chest, maybe in the throat if you have your chin stretched forward. We've got 1 minute left right here. If you lifted your hips away from your heels for melting hearts pose, start to gently sink your hips back towards your heels. And if you were already in child's pose, let's change our arms and bring arms back towards your heels for a little bit of tadpole. You can still have your head on a block if you need it. 1 minute here total. Start to walk your hands back underneath of your chest, in front of your knees. Go ahead, press yourself up. Next up, we're going to come into a toe squat. So hands down on the floor, tuck your toes under, start to walk your hands back towards your feet. You might need to lift yourself up onto your knees. The more pressure that you have is going to make this toe squat more challenging. We're going to add in an element, tuck one hand under your armpit. Give yourself a nice little massage. Still pressing back into your toes, getting some version of toe squat, whatever feels okay for you. You can open your fist also if you want to use your fingers to just kind of stimulate the lymph in your armpit. That's what we're going for here. Just a couple more breaths. We'll take a quick release and then get to the other side. One more big inhale. On your exhale, bring your hands back down towards the floor. Untuck your toes. Take a minute. Tap your feet on the floor. And tuck your toes back under. Walk your hands back in. Set yourself up. And let's get the opposite side. If you find any tender spots, just hang out there. Breathe through it. You can do it. Goodness, just a couple more breaths left right here. Great. On your exhale, release your hands back down to the floor. Come on back to tapping those toes out. However feels good to just tap the top of the feet onto the floor. Let's get a quick little down dog just to stretch through the calves before we stretch into the hamstrings. So go ahead, tuck your toes under, send your hips up towards the ceiling. Pedal out through your heels, maybe one at a time, maybe both at the same time. Just move at a pace that feels right for your body today. If you're joining me here early in the morning or whatever day you're joining me, you might feel a lot more tight and inflexible versus if you do this same class later in the day when your body is just a little bit more warmed up. All right, let's come into our stretch for our hamstrings. So either walk your hands to your feet or walk your feet to your hands. Fix the awesome tuck-in job I did with my shirt. Great. And we're going to come into a dangle. So a nice forward hinge. If you want, you can inhale into a half lift, find a little bit of length, flat back, and then exhale, release yourself down. As generous of a bend in your knees as you need. And if the block or the floor still feels really far away, you can think about using a chair and just placing your hands on the chair. Honestly, it feels great. What a great suggestion. And we're here for 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes. The more that you lift your hips up, the more you're going to feel a stretch in the back of the legs. Try not to let your hips shift all the way towards the back of the room. And remember, you can have as generous of a bending your knees as you need to, rounding through your feet. We're focusing on the stretch on the back of the legs. All right. Next up, we're going to come into a squat. Highly recommend using a prop. Open your feet nice and wide. Turn your heels in. Start to sit yourself down. You can sit on your block. If that's still too intense for you, think about sitting on a chair and just bringing your legs in, or sitting on the floor and bringing your heels as close to the center line as possible. And if that's not working for you, two legs at a time, go ahead, just do one leg right now. Because we're going to come back to this. We're going to do it again. And we can meet you on the floor. No, no, I lied. So we're going to mix it up next time. So you get about like 30 more seconds if you're just doing one leg for a seated version of this squat. All right, if you just have one leg brought in, go ahead, switch those legs out if you're sitting on the floor. Otherwise, those of us in a regular squat know that you're past that halfway point. Last couple of breaths. All right, if you are up in a squat, let's make our way back down towards the floor. Go ahead, extend your legs out in front of you. You've got a seated forward fold. Now, if your hamstrings are really tight, sitting on the floor and sending your legs out in front of you might not feel great today. So you can think about lifting yourself up on a pillow with your legs in front of you. A block might be a little bit high. You can try that also, or take a slight bend in your knees and flex your toes back towards your face. Just give a little relaxation into the back of the legs. Otherwise, make sure that you're hinging from your hips and not your waist. So hinging from the waist would look like a lot of rounding right here. Hinging from the hips is coming forward with the flat back. You can even walk your hips back a little bit. We've got 2 minutes left right here. Feel free to use your props even as something for you to hinge forward and relax on. Focusing on stretching the hamstrings. We've got just about 1 minute left. If you want to take a little bit more rounding here to relax out for the last couple of breaths. Just still think about hinging from the hips, even if you're taking a gentle rounding forward. On your next inhale, wherever you are, especially if you rounded, try to reduce that rounding. Inhale, bring your chest forward. Exhale, ground through your sit bones. Inhale, lift yourself up. Awesome. Props out of the way. Next up, we've got butterfly. So go ahead, bring the soles of your feet together, creating like some 45-degree angles right here. You can have your hands behind you even to make it a little bit easier to open up those legs. If they're really far from the floor, think about using your blocks and even placing your blocks underneath of the legs. And if you're looking for a little bit more of the hip opener, if you don't feel it, you can always hinge forward as well. Little more than 2 minutes to go right here. So we're stretching into the same two places as the squat and dangle, but in a very different way. If you are hinged forward at all, perhaps you give yourself another massage. All about the massage today at the soles of your feet. And if you're not hinged forward, you can just take some really big, slow breaths. Last minute right here. Let me get to lay down. Okay, if you brought your hands in front of you, go ahead, bring your hands behind you. Bring the soles of the feet to the floor, knees up towards the ceiling. Walk your legs forward. We're going to carefully lower ourselves back one vertebrae at a time. Oh, so good. Once you get there, we're going to draw our knees up towards chests. So keep your low back ground on the floor. Might feel good to even rock a little gently side to side. Really open up your back and create space. You can have your knees wide. You can have your knees together. Your choice. Just a couple more breaths here. Maybe making some circles or half circles. Great. Firmly plant your back on the mat again, and then release your heels back down towards the floor. Grab one of your blocks. Use your inhale to lift your hips up. Place that block at your lower back. And exhale to allow your glutes to hang over the side. So we started right here on our backs, applying a little bit of self myofascial release into the upper back shoulders, and we're finishing applying a little bit of self myofascial release into the low back. You can stay right here if you want a little bit more stretch into your belly. You can think about sending your feet further away or even extending them all the way out. Or maybe inhaling your arms up overhead for a nice little stretch into your lat. We've got just about 3 minutes left right here. So find something comfortable or semi uncomfortable, but hopefully that feels kind of good and that is not limiting your breath. And if at any point your elected stretch actually does become uncomfortable or limits your breath, go ahead and make a gentle change and find your stillness somewhere new. If you brought your arms up overhead, go ahead, bring your arms back down by your side. If you extended your legs away from the center line of your body, take the time to walk your legs back into the center line. And then use your inhale to lift yourself up off the block and your exhale to carefully release yourself back down towards the floor. Draw your knees in towards your chest. Feet relaxed side by side, knees close together. Give yourself 3 circles in one direction and then 3 circles in the opposite direction. And then go ahead, release your feet back down to the floor. Extend your legs nice and long and come into Savasana. Option for traditional Savasana. Heels touch, toes fall open, arms by your side, palms facing up towards the ceiling. But if you prefer to open yourself up a little bit more, please do what feels right for your body. Let's take the next 3 minutes in silence, in stillness, still just focusing on our breath, relaxing on our mat. You're welcome to stay in this final Savasana for as long as continues to honor you for today. In fact, I always encourage you to take the longest Savasana that you have time for. If you don't have time to still relax on the floor, if you want to close out class together, opportunity to do so right now. Take a gentle wiggle of your fingers and your toes, and then take your time, make your way into a comfortable seated position of your choice. When you get there, ground through your sit bones. Take a big breath. Inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale, bring your hands down to palm center. Tuck your chin to your chest. Come back to that mantra you enjoyed earlier in class. Awesome. I hope that you are feeling just as energetically great after today's practice as I know I am right now. Pretty awesome. Till we are together again, think good thoughts, speak good words, eat good foods, do good deeds. Take the time to nourish yourself from the inside out. If it feels right, you can bring your thumb to your third eye, your drishti, lift your heart, and know that the light within me honors, sees, and is so thankful for the light within you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.